Imagine being the leader of a nation in one of its darkest times. The Great Depression. This was the reality for Franklin D. Roosevelt. When he assumed the presidency in 1933, the United States was in the grip of the worst economic downturn in its history. Unemployment was rampant, banks were failing, and the public's faith in the system was at an all-time low. Yet, in the face of these overwhelming challenges, Roosevelt embarked on a bold and unprecedented course of action. He introduced a series of programs and policies collectively known as the New Deal, which aimed at providing relief for the unemployed and poor, recovery of the economy to normal levels, and reform of the financial system to prevent a repeat depression. Key among these was the Civilian Conservation Corps, or CCC, which put millions of young unemployed men to work in projects aimed at preserving and restoring America's natural resources. Then there was the Social Security Act, which, for the first time, provided a safety net for the elderly, the unemployed, and the disadvantaged. And let's not forget the Works Progress Administration, one of the largest and most ambitious New Deal agencies, which employed millions of people to carry out public works projects, including the construction of public buildings and roads. These programs, and others like them, had a profound impact on American society. They provided immediate relief to those most affected by the Depression, helped stabilize the economy, and laid the groundwork for a long-term recovery. More than that, they represented a fundamental shift in the role of government in American life, from a passive observer to an active participant in the economic well-being of its citizens. Roosevelt's New Deal, thus, became the beacon of hope for the American people, promising recovery and reform. It was a bold experiment in government intervention and social responsibility, one that continues to shape our nation to this day. In a time of crisis, communication is key, and Roosevelt knew this well. His presidency stood as a testament to the power of words, the power of connection, and the power of media in shaping a nation's perspective. His tool of choice? The humble radio. Franklin D. Roosevelt, the 32nd President of the United States, was a master of communication. He harnessed the power of radio, a medium that was still relatively new, and used it to communicate directly with the American people. He didn't just use radio to broadcast his policies or to spread propaganda. He used it to speak directly to the people in their homes, creating a sense of intimacy and connection that was unprecedented. These radio broadcasts, fondly known as Roosevelt's Fireside Chats, were a defining aspect of his presidency. They were informal, yet informative, personal, yet political. They allowed Roosevelt to bypass the traditional press and speak directly to the American people, reassuring them in times of crisis and mobilizing them towards collective action. During these fireside chats, Roosevelt discussed everything from banking to unemployment, from drought relief to the merits of democracy. He explained complex policies and decisions in simple, understandable terms, making the government's workings more transparent and accessible to the average citizen. The significance of these fireside chats cannot be overstated. They played a crucial role in shaping public opinion during Roosevelt's presidency, helping to foster a sense of trust and confidence in his leadership. They reassured a nation grappling with the hardships of the Great Depression and later, the uncertainties of World War II. Moreover, they demonstrated the power of media and communication in shaping public opinion. Roosevelt's fireside chats were a pioneering use of mass media for political communication, setting a precedent for future presidents and political leaders. Roosevelt's fireside chats were not just about communication, they were about connection. They were about a president reaching out to his people, reassuring them, informing them, and galvanizing them. They were about a leader using the power of words to guide a nation through some of its darkest hours. From economic depression to a world at war, Roosevelt was a leader ready for every challenge. As the storm clouds of World War II gathered over Europe and Asia, Franklin D. Roosevelt found himself at the helm of a nation still recovering from the Great Depression. Yet despite the domestic challenges, Roosevelt understood the global stakes. He recognized the need for the United States to support the Allied powers, even before officially entering the war. Roosevelt's commitment to the cause was evident in his actions. He pushed for the passage of the Lend-Lease Act in 1941, a law that allowed the United States to supply military aid to any country whose defense was vital to American security. This move effectively turned the United States into the arsenal of democracy, providing crucial support to countries like Britain and the Soviet Union, who were battling the Axis powers. But Roosevelt's leadership extended beyond military aid. His role in shaping military strategy and diplomacy during the conflict was pivotal. He worked closely with Allied leaders like Winston Churchill and Joseph Stalin, crafting strategies to defeat the Axis powers. His diplomatic skills were on full display at pivotal meetings like the Casablanca Conference and the Yalta Conference, where the blueprint for post-war Europe was laid out. Roosevelt was not just a commander-in-chief, he was a beacon of hope in a world engulfed in darkness. His speeches rallied the American public, instilling in them a sense of purpose and determination to fight for freedom and democracy. His bold decisions, like the call for an unconditional surrender of the Axis powers, showed his unwavering commitment to a world free from tyranny. So, as we look back at Roosevelt's leadership during World War II, we see a man who was ready to face any challenge, a leader who understood the gravity of the situation, who made tough decisions, and who never lost sight of the ideals he was fighting for. Roosevelt's leadership during the war was a testament to his unwavering commitment to freedom and democracy. Roosevelt didn't just lead America, he transformed the American presidency. His presidency marked a significant departure from the traditional role of the office, as he greatly expanded the powers of the executive branch. This was a time when the nation was grappling with the Great Depression and then World War II, and the exigencies of these crises demanded a stronger and more active federal government. Roosevelt's response to these crises was not just about immediate relief and recovery. He had a broader vision. He saw the presidency as a platform to bring about long-term changes and reforms. His New Deal programs and his leadership during the war were not isolated initiatives. They were part of a larger strategy to increase the role of the federal government in American society. One of the most striking aspects of Roosevelt's presidency was his unprecedented 4 terms in office. Before him, no president had served more than 2 terms, a tradition dating back to George Washington. Roosevelt's 4 terms were not just a testament to his popularity, they also signified a shift in American politics. The presidency was no longer a temporary stewardship. It had become a platform for long-term leadership and change. Roosevelt's expansion of the presidency laid the groundwork for the role of the modern president. His use of the executive branch to implement wide-ranging reforms and his central role in shaping national and international policy set a precedent for future presidents. He showed that the presidency could be a force for social and economic change, a role that continues to define the office today. His presidency also changed the relationship between the federal government and the American people. He used the power of his office to address the needs of the people directly, whether it was through the New Deal programs or his direct communication with the public through his Fireside Chats. This set a new expectation for the federal government's role in society, an expectation that continues to shape American politics. Roosevelt's presidency reshaped the American political landscape, setting the stage for future leaders. Roosevelt's leadership was not just about economic recovery or wartime strategy, it was also about justice and equality. An integral part of his legacy is his stance on civil rights and racial justice. Under his administration, Roosevelt adopted New Deal policies that had significant benefits for African Americans and other marginalized groups. These policies aimed to level the playing field, offering relief from the harsh economic conditions of the time. One of the most notable actions Roosevelt took in support of civil rights was his Executive Order 8802. This order, issued in the early 1940s, banned racial discrimination in the defense industry, a significant step forward at a time when segregation was still the norm. This move didn't just open up new opportunities for African Americans in the defense industry, but also sent a clear message about the importance of equality and fairness. Roosevelt's commitment to civil rights laid the groundwork for future strides toward equality. Roosevelt's legacy is not just about his actions, but about the lasting impact of those actions. This man, who led America through the Great Depression and World War II, left an indelible mark on American society, politics, and culture. His leadership during times of crisis is a testament to his resilience, his determination, and his unwavering belief in the American people. Roosevelt's presidency reshaped the relationship between government and the people, demonstrating the potential of government to be a force for good, a source of support in times of need. His New Deal, his Fireside Chats, his wartime leadership, All these contributed to creating a more inclusive, more equitable America. Yet Roosevelt's legacy is not without controversy. Debates continue to swirl around his policies, their effectiveness, and their relevance to contemporary issues. But one thing remains clear: Roosevelt's legacy continues to resonate, reminding us of the power of leadership, the importance of communication, and the potential of political courage.